for those of you who've never heard of emotional intelligence before, like, please don't feel bad about that. I hadn't heard about it either back in 2012. And I really first learned about it from a book. Like I said, I read a lot of books, and Emotional Intelligence 2.0, this was the book that, and I don't even remember who introduced it to me, to be quite honest, but in it is, it's a super easy read. You don't even have to read it from like cover to cover. The idea is that there's an assessment in here where you can see how emotionally intelligent you are, and then it gives you tips and tricks on how to improve. So for me, I hadn't heard of emotional intelligence, so let me like break it down in easy terms. So self-awareness is the first component of emotional intelligence, and it's really about, to break it down for you, is like correctly identifying your emotions. And that the key word there is correctly, because most of the time we are treating the symptoms and not the disease. That's the phrase I like to use about it. So we might be, again, looking at our reactions and what we're doing outwardly and think that that's the emotion, but really there's something else going on inside. So I'm going to give you some examples of that here in a second. The next component of emotional intelligence is self-management. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying we're going to proactively manage our emotions, we're going to handle them. And again, I'm going to go over scenarios with you on that. Social awareness is the third part, and that's when you're really good at picking up on the emotions and behaviors of others. And this is something where, because you have you have a lot of different kind of people, but there's two general kind of people, where people who are more empathetic and people who are not, right? I am not a naturally empathetic person, but I'm very good at picking up on the social cues of others because I know how to build good relationships, and I know enough about the person to where I notice the change in their behavior. And so that's how I can pick up on the cues. Also, the better I am of noticing things in myself, the better I can start picking it up in other people as well. And then the final piece is relationship management, which really just brings it all together. And this is really the key of how you're going to use EQ to leverage career opportunities and advance your career. Because think about it, any type of executive, manager, entrepreneur, whatever type of career path you want, you need to be able to have certain skill sets of problem solving, collaborating, negotiating, and all of these things are enhanced when you improve your emotional intelligence skills. When you think of emotional intelligence, you think of managing these emotions, it's like any other skill. It can definitely be improved. The thing about EQ that's so different from IQ, right? Your IQ intelligence, you can't really change that a lot, right? Like you can a little bit, right? But there's only so much you can do. But with emotional intelligence, you can go from 0 to 100. When I first did this, 10 years ago, I had no idea what emotional intelligence was. And I really suffered with my self-awareness and self-management. But now it's one of the things that I'm strongest in. So it's definitely something you can improve. It's going to help you reduce your emotional stress because you're just going to frame things so that you have just a positive mindset about yourself. You're going to know yourself so much better so that you know what's going to trigger you and you're going to manage it ahead of the game, right? So you're already going to be ahead of it. That social awareness piece is going to make you easier to work with. It's going to make people have a different perception of you at work so that people aren't coming at you any kind of crazy way, right? And so you have better relationships with the people you're working with. And that relationship management piece, that collaboration, that's really going to elevate you to working with all different kinds of people, and really you're going to start to even just see the opportunities reveal themselves of like, man, there's this big gap of a project that needs to be done, a process that needs to be in place, someplace where I can add value and really, showcase my skills so I can get a promotion. Or for those of you who are looking at new jobs, like I said, you in an interview, you have very little time to build rapport. You don't know anything about the person. So you have to be able to pick up on the social cues quickly. You have to be able to manage your own, nervousness and doubt that everybody gets in an interview. And you have to kind of keep yourself, under control. But you got to build rapport really quickly, and you got to get this person to like you, right? So that emotional intelligence is going to help you whether you're, advancing in your current company or if you're trying to get a job someplace else. Networking and all that stuff it takes to get another job, to get an interview, like all of that comes into play. So it's going to enhance your soft skills. It's going to enhance your confidence in yourself, your composure, so how people perceive you. It's just fantastic.